Oh, hey, B. It's Jamie. That's me here. And no, I'm not talking. Not unless you're giving me likes, you commenting, and subscribing. Good. Well, thank you. Listen, I want us to chat more about Real Housewives of Atlanta. A few things. First of all, Miss Angela Oakley decided to clear up some of the allegations, the talk, the conversation around this outside child. And I'm wondering, are we gonna see that on the TV show, girl? Or you just gonna give it all away in this radio interview? But we're gonna get into that in just a second. We also got to talk about Miss Kelli. Kelli has a lot going on. All right, Miss Kelli has a lot going on. All right. It seems like that husband of hers, or ex-husband, shall I say, is about to drag her back into court. In addition to the fact that, of course, she has the situation going on with the location that was supposed to be in Sandy Springs, as well as this baby daddy kind of pulling a stunt similar to Simon when it comes to Portia. So it is a mess, and we're definitely going to get into a lot of documents. Well, not really a lot, okay? I have to shout out the Jasmine brand because this is where the documents are, and we're going to get into that as well as In Touch Weekly for a little bit of stuff as well, all right? So in the meantime, in between time, I kind of want to chat about real quick Sinners. Can we talk about Sinners? I mean, I'm not even gonna talk long. It's just gonna be a hot second. Okay, Charlie. So me and Hubs got a chance to go and check out Sinners. We got to see it on IMAX. All right. Did go. We watched it on IMAX, and I'll be honest, I didn't think that it was a bad film. I think it turned out to be a pretty good film in my opinion. I do kind of want to see it again because the first round of me watching it, I started to get just a bit irritated. Like it was good. I love, love, love. Oh, first of all, spoiler alert. Okay. Spoiler alert. Oops, oops, oops. Okay. If you haven't seen it, you don't want to hear anything, just go ahead and hop off at this time and you could just return back in a few seconds. And I don't know what I would say that would be a spoiler, honestly. Because I'm not really trying to spoil it for real, because I'm not trying to like give a review of the movie or anything. But aside from that, I did love the fact that Michael B. Jordan played twins. I absolutely love that. Seeing like, oh my God, it's two of them. I wish that was real life, but that's not the case. What's interesting is I honestly never saw the promo for Sinners. I do not recall seeing any promo for Sinners, and it's crazy because after the fact, I feel like I've seen it more. Right? I learned about Sinners because everybody was talking about it on social media. And I'm like, huh, what is this? Okay, Sinners, what's that? Huh? What's that? And it's also interesting because I follow Michael B. Jordan over on Instagram, but his stuff don't really pop up on my timeline. Y'all know how social media do. But now all of a sudden, after I've seen the movie, which is crazy, he popped up on my timeline. I don't know what weird stuff Apple and Instagram got with each other, but now he's popping up on my timeline where he's thanking people for coming out, checking out the film and everything like that. And yeah, shout out to them because I think the film is continuing to be very successful. I mean, there have been articles and people trying to hate or whatever the case is, but for these two black men and primarily all black cast to come out and do their thing, listen, it was great. I am seeing, in my opinion, Michael B doing more promotion with Haley, and not trying to feel away, but I was like, dang, I kind of wish she would do, more promo with the other character. And I really hate that I can't think of her name at this time, y'all. I just gotta pull up the cast real quick. Um Wannabe, she played Annie. Like, I would like to see him do more with her, because I feel like we got introduced to her first. I'm not sure, but even when we were introduced to her, whether it was first or not, I just feel like her scene was longer than when we were introduced to Haley. And who did Haley play? She played Mary. So Mary's character, we saw her for like a split second, but I just feel like it was much longer. I just felt like Annie was in the movie longer than Haley in a sense. But then again, the fact that how things ended up being the way that it was at the very end is kind of, so it's two things. I think I'm starting to see why he's doing the promo. Okay, it's two things. One, when you add up the time, they both probably spent about the same amount of time in the film. Two, spoiler alert, because Mary is still around, honey. it also kind of makes sense. And I also saw somebody put a post up saying that Ryan Coogler is going to do a Sinners cinematic universe where there are going to be different movies that are going to be released at different times or something like that. But I think that's rumored because I saw it. I saw a post on this film Instagram page, and it had Ryan Coogler standing up with the mic in his hand, and behind him was like a movie screen that said Sinners Cinematic Universe, and it had, starting out with Sinners, and then the next one will drop, next spring, and it'll be this, and then the next one will drop at this time, and it'll be that. And I don't think that is necessarily real. It might be, but when I went to look up articles to fact check to see if that was true, what I saw was just articles saying that how Ryan Coogler could set up a Sinners automatic universe. Not so much as that there will actually be a Sinners cinematic universe. I think that would be so dope. I think this one had so many different layers in it, and I think that I missed a lot. So I'll have to go back and watch. I think my anxiety be killing me when I be watching some of these suspenseful movies. I don't really like horror films. I don't really feel like it was a horror film, in all honesty. To me, I guess it was, but the suspense of it all, the stupidity is what I'll say at some portion. I think the last 45 minutes for about 30 minutes, the stupidity was killing me softly. Okay? And Miss Grace Child, Lee John Lee, I could have stomped a mud hole in your ass, bitch. Okay? But for the simple fact that somebody was gonna have to do something to continue to push the show along, the movie along. So it is what it is. Let me tell y'all something. I think this was a great film as I reflect back on it. I know I said that, it wasn't bad or whatever like that. Like, nah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I think they did a great job with it. I think that they chose great actors. I think the actors did a really good job. Let me tell y'all, that motherfucking dude, Jack O'Connell, they played Remy. He played the fuck out that role, baby. That man played the fuck out that role. The dancing outside was crazy. I just can't. Okay. I definitely have to watch it again. I'm going to have to go see that movie again. Just to pick up on things that I didn't see. Sometimes when it got stupid, I ain't gonna lie, I just put my head down like, girl, I'm not even finna deal with it. I'm not even finna deal with this because they just too dumb. I'm not gonna lie. I just put my head down. So I'm sure I missed like a smidget of something. But all in all, I think that it was a pretty good film. I think they did a good job, and I actually feel like it kind of leaves you with more questions to the point where they probably could have did this in like a series type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like this could have been like an episodic type of thing. But then I also love the fact that there is no cliffhangers that I gotta wait till the next week to find out what the hell gonna happen. Right. So I think they've done good. I just think they did a good job casting. I love the idea of Michael B. Jordan playing, two characters. That was dope. I will say this too. For the time that I spent watching the stupidity, I really appreciate how they kind of redeemed themselves towards the end, if you know what I am saying. Okay. Okay. But anywho, girl, that's another thing. We'll get into that at a later time because this is not a review or anything. I just wanted to chat about it real quick because I got a chance to see it. I know a lot of people are talking about it. Let me know if you've seen it, if you plan on seeing it. Some people felt as though it was demonic. I feel like if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. If other people feel like it wasn't demonic, everybody got their own right to feel however they want to feel about something, okay? Just don't be trying to push it off onto other folks what they should or shouldn't be doing or how they should or shouldn't feel about X, Y, and Z, okay? Let them get their own experience to determine for them whether they feel like, oh, it's demonic, it's that. I ain't get none of that. I didn't, for me. Okay, I didn't get none of that for me. Now, I may have gotten moments where it was cringe. Okay. But y'all let me know. Okay. Y'all have a conversation amongst yourselves. Make sure it's respectful. Anywho, let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. All right. So first things first, I told you guys when it comes to Angela, there's been this whole story about another child that Charles has that we don't know anything about for real. She tried to not necessarily explain, but explain, and the things were not matching. So I don't know if they didn't give her the opportunity to share this information over on the show as things play out or not. But she does have an interview, and I want us to check this interview out over here and see exactly what she has to say when she's questioned about this matter. So let's get into it.
People were giving a lot of not backlash, but like they were trying to pry into your relationship with Charles because clearly you guys were separated for.
You may have had it right the first time, ma'am. I think backlash would have been fine, okay? Versus pry, because she's on a reality show. How we prying when she on a reality show? She's supposed to be giving us this tea anyway.
Wow.
We were not.
Oh,
and a lot of people, see, let's clear that up because we can
clear.
And more will come out in the show. When he got drugged out of Madison Square Garden, like, I see people are saying that's not a big deal. This is Charles Oakley going to the New York Knicks game, a team that he gave his blood, sweat, and tears. He has bruises on him to this day, scars that will never heal from playing in that arena. So he's at a game and he gets drugged out on national television. That's just like someone coming in here dragging you out of here unprovoked for life. And this is a man with, I'm not going to say ego, but ego.
Pride.
Who's, you know, who has pride. So when that happened to him, that was traumatic. And when I say traumatic, I didn't recognize him anymore. And I don't even think he knew who he was anymore because everything was snatched from him. So we separated in that time. Yes, we separated.
Okay. Well, if you say that, Angela, I'll give you this. I'm willing to believe that y'all know how nonchalant he can be sometimes on the show, but funny at the same time. I could see Charles at that time because he did not like what happened to him. He got even more disrespectful or something. Like maybe the way he talked to her, maybe the way he cared for her. Like when he turned around and said, "Why are you telling me your family business?" Like, I don't care. Like he probably was much worse than what it is that we see now, which is why she may have taken that break with him. And maybe during that break could be when he had the child. Potentially, I don't know. My question is, how long were you guys on the break? But now that she says that, I just felt like it wasn't enough for enough of an explanation to explain who this child was, okay? But I guess she was just trying to speak to the separation, which is, I'm sure that did hurt his ego. I'm sure he did getting his feelings about it. He was utterly embarrassed, okay? So I could definitely, for me, I feel like I could understand that. And I can also understand how he started to lash out on her because he was unable to lash out or whatever for the people that may have did him a certain type of way. So sometimes, when people go through traumatic things, they definitely leave with a place of misplacement of damn anger. All right. And that probably drove her to be like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and part ways, okay? And that's probably when the family started having issues with his ex, because they probably was like, "You're not gonna keep talking to my daughter like this. You're not gonna keep talking to my sister like this." Da, 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 da. And so maybe that's when they separated. And when they separated, who knows? But let's keep going.
Meaning, you go do you go figure this out, and I'll be here when you need my support. But you can't keep pushing my support away because he didn't know what it was. Like, he didn't understand what was happening to him. So I gave him grace. Now,
okay, let's get to
that being said, he got to see if this is what he wanted. And, in that time, he found his way back home. But that's what happened. But go ahead.
Okay, but he did have a son or a baby.
No.
He didn't have an outside baby.
No.
I don't want to call baby outside, but all your kids are between the two of you.
No, he has a son.
Okay, now help me out, friend.
But you see, I don't know when it's coming out because I kind of wanted to play out on the show because I love that this Wendy Williams story is kind of like growing legs.
Okay.
This is something that happened in 2020 where I saw Wendy at a party, and me being a fan of Wendy is like, oh my God, Wendy, you going through it, sis. Let me tell you, it's just a baby. And Charles and Wendy have been friends 30 years. Like, they known each other. So he's been on her show. And so they had an event together, and we're coming together to cook for this event. And I'm like, Wendy, girl, stay with your husband. It's just a baby.
I feel like this. It's no disrespect. I don't know if that was the right thing to say to somebody, Angela. To tell somebody it's just a baby. That changes a lot. Everybody, there are some women that may think like that, like it's just a baby. It's not a big deal for them. The love they have for that guy may outweigh whatever he's done, so we could get past that type thing. But at the same time, it's like you said Charles and Wendy were friends, not you and Wendy were friends. So to know y'all weren't even friends and you walking up on that lady talking about something, it's just a baby, not Angela, girl. I don't know if that was the best thing to say. Either way, it didn't matter because Wendy said, I'm finna get the hell out of Dodge. I've been knowing that you've been dealing with this bitch for 10 years, a decade, but now you done produced a child. I'm out. Whew, so I don't know, but let me know your thoughts.
And she was like, get the away from me. You know, and she was like, has that ever happened to you? And I'm like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This lady goes on her big platform and says, I pointed to my husband, who actually wasn't even around us in this conversation. And I'm like, no, Wendy, my daughter's father, my 25-year-old father, did that to me.
Oh.
So I'm like, and the best thing that ever happened to me was my 25-year-old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Wendy, like, girl, it's okay. Charles Oakley did not have a side baby on me.
I appreciate her clearing that up, and we're gonna see how things play out over on the episode to know whether or not Miss Angela was keeping it a buck with the people or whether she, was lying. But they're gonna find the holes either way it go. All right. But that's what she's saying. It was the first husband. I mean, the first baby daddy, not Charles. But then it's still confusing though, because why in the photos does the little boy look super young? Why does he look about as young as your kids? So is he 10, or did you meet Charles? Did you and Charles connect right when somebody had just had a child or something? Either way, I'm glad to know that we are going to see that play out in the upcoming episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I know, like she said, she can't wait so she can feel like her name is finally clear, just a little piece, and Charles too. But y'all leave y'all thoughts down below on that. All right. In the meantime, in between time, like I told you guys, Miss Kelli Ferrell has been dealing with a lot. All right. I don't know if it's still Ferrell or if she went back to her maiden name. I know her married last name was Ferrell, so as they're calling her that in the articles, I will call her that as well. But here's the thing. So, she got that divorce from that husband. She has 3 daughters with this man. They had a business together. He shut down one of the businesses without her knowledge, from my understanding of what she's mentioned. She does have the one location out in McDonough. She was trying to open another in Sandy Springs, but this man ain't been paying no bills or paying her what he's supposed to pay her according to the courts. So I'm sure that is why she likely fell behind in payments. Now, that came out like a week or so ago, where she's struggling with, some, or having some financial stuff going on over there with the landlord of that Sandy Springs location. I'm really hoping it work out for her because I would love to go to that particular location. But she also says that so with that, he's supposed to be helping out, paying whatever he's supposed to pay to her, and I'm sure that was supposed to spill over. But one of her spokespersons did say that they're still working on having this restaurant. So although things may have gone to court, they may be in default or whatever, I don't know if they're going to try to figure some stuff out. But according to the rep, they're still trying to have this location actively opened by the summer. That's what they say. I don't know what's going to be actual factual. We're getting very close to the summer, so we shall see. All right. But aside from that, if things couldn't get any worse, although she was saying on the show that her ex wasn't even Mark. I think it was Mark. I think that's his name. We'll get into it, and if not, I'll correct it. But her ex-husband wasn't even really paying no money, and now he's taking her to the courts to try and lower the child support payments. So you barely was giving her something according to her words, and now you're trying to lower that too? That's crazy. So he was ordered to pay almost $4,000 a month. Okay, that's like $39.91. According to the reports, he filed a petition in February. He explained a final judgment and decree of divorce that was issued on September of 2024. All right. Let's keep going. They said Kelli has an older daughter from a previous relationship. Per their divorce deal, Kelli was awarded primary custody of the kids. They were to share legal custody. The court ordered Chevello to pay $39.91 per month in child support. Okay. The amount was based on Chevello's then income of $19,847, and Kelli was earning about $15K a month. In his newly filed petition, Chevello said that since the order was entered, there has been a substantial change in his income and financial status. I really hate this for her. I really do. It's crazy. People start out to be, so, I guess, kind and nice, whatever, yada yada. Then they just flip the switch on you. It's getting abusive. It's getting wanting to see you down and out. Don't want to make the payments. Probably giving up businesses and assets just to make it appear as though they ain't got it. In an effort to make sure you don't got it while she has those kids. You want to have shared legal custody of them, but don't want to pay the child support. And then now asking for the child support to be lowered from the $39.91. And I know he was waiting just for the moment for this show to air to confirm that she's a part of this show and she's making money in an effort to lower his. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out, as far as, they may have given a cease and desist or whatever the case is to Bravo, but it looks like In Touch Weekly is going to continue to report on it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the result is going to be and whether that is going to be lowered or whether it's not going to be lowered. And I hope she get a forensic accountant if she could, but maybe she's already done that. But during her marriage, during her divorce, she probably should have got one to find all the money. But she says he pleaded with the court to modify downward his monthly child support payments on a temporary and permanent basis. He said that the change in his income has been entirely involuntary. Child, I can't. They said back in August of 2024, the judge presiding over the ex's divorce ordered him to serve time behind bars until he coughed up the $14,889 that Kelli claimed she was owed. Chevello was booked into jail in August of last year. He was released later after he posted bond. In her petition, Kelli listed that they got married in August of 2011 and then they separated in January of 2022. Okay, so that's what they're saying. So let's see. Okay, so Chevello's rep, her ex-husband's rep, says Mr. Ferrell appreciates the interest in his ongoing personal matters, but he is committed to focusing on his family and professional responsibilities during this challenging time. It is important to note that the details surrounding his divorce from Kelli are complex and sensitive. Mr. Ferrell has consistently sought to resolve these issues amicably and in the best interest of all parties involved. Child, that's crazy. So that's what they have going on. But then the Jasmine brand pops up and they let us know that her ex-husband has issued a cease and desist to Bravo and NBC Universal. And that's similar to what Simon did. So basically, it appears that she won't be able to really talk or discuss, like bring up she can't talk about him badly. Which I feel like she should be able to say my ex this, my ex that. She ain't using your name. So she should be able to say what the fuck she want, especially if you're able to sour her name potentially. So hopefully the judge lets that pass. But then aside from that, and it's not so much as trying to sour your name, it's just telling the truth. If she is saying that you threatened her in front of a judge, that is noted, I am sure, in court records that you threatened her in front of the judge. Now, if that's a lie, then sue her. But if not, I'm sure if she said you threatened her in front of the judge, that's something that could be pulled up. And you got locked up. Didn't he get locked up for that as well? But anywho, it also appears that he doesn't want any previous footage of his kids on the show. He wants that taken off. And anything going forward, he wants it taken out. Being the fact that they have shared legal custody, I am hoping that her attorney pushes back on that. Okay? Because you don't get to not and barely pay child support, according to Kelli. Ask to get your fucking child support lower, according to the documents as reported by In Touch Weekly, and then think that you're finna come around and have control too on what the kids being seen and not being seen on television. I don't like that. But I do think the decision should be how the kids feel. Like, do you want to be on television? Because some kids don't want to have nothing to do with it. So if her children are like, no, mommy, I don't put me on there. right? Some people may only film maybe 2 of their kids and not the other 2 because they don't want to be on television. And I completely understand that. But for him to try and do that, it's all being spiteful. And let me tell you, you can't win when you dirty. Okay? You cannot win when you dirty. Even when you think that you're winning, you not ultimately. But let's keep going because I do want to read some of what is being said here. So they're saying that this law firm represents Mr. Chavallo. His name is Chavallo. I was thinking that it may be Mark. Maybe that's what the M is for, but it's Chavallo Ferrell. Got it. All right. So the former husband of Miss Kelli Potter Ferrell, who currently appears on Bravo's Real Housewives of Atlanta. This correspondence serves as a request for your network to take corrective action due to Miss Potter's repeated promotion of false and distorted narratives about Mr. Ferrell that are defamatory and violate a binding court order, specifically on season 16 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta television program. Furthermore, this correspondence shall serve as a spoliation notice, formally putting you on notice of your obligation and preserve all communications. Basically, in case we sue your ass, whatever evidence you already got, go ahead and hold on to it. Don't get rid of nothing. Don't delete nothing. Because we just might sue that ass, okay? We demand that you remove all references to Mr. Ferrell that cast him in a negative light, which is the case with virtually every single reference made about him from all versions and broadcast digital. Okay, well then y'all finna battle it out in court because it's all the show. The episodes have already been done. You think they finna go back and I doubt it. I would like to see it. I would like to see it. So being that they can't, I would think go back and remove that. And then they're telling them to remove it as if she said his name. She didn't say your name. Of course we know who you are, but she didn't say your name. I don't even think she showed your face. I can't remember. Maybe she did. But I guess y'all going to court then. And don't be trying to put Kelli off the show because y'all made room and made space for Miss Portia when her situation was going down with Simon trying to restrict her all around. But anywho, they go on to say that you are further instructed to cease and desist from broadcasting any such references in future episodes of the program. Finally, we demand that you remove all depictions of Mr. Ferrell's minor children from all previous broadcasts of Real Housewives of Atlanta and refrain from including them in any future broadcast without him having to give his permission as well. Child, she's here for a long battle with this man. A long battle with this man, okay? Despite this order, Bravo and its affiliates have aired and amplified multiple statements by Kelli that disparage Chavallo. This fact cannot be disputed. These disparaging statements clearly violates the court's explicit prohibition against verbal disparagement. Okay, this fact too cannot be disputed as a globally distributed entity with a broadcasting history dating back to 1926. All right. They're saying your own coverage demonstrates clear awareness that Kelli was undergoing a divorce and that extensive litigation had occurred between the parties prior to the premiere of the show. Given your program's frequent coverage of divorce-related litigation involving current and former spouses, it strains credulity that you would be unaware of the behavioral limitations placed on Miss Potter by the court's order. Your decision to repeatedly disregard the terms of this divorce decree between the parties and broadcast Kelli's blatant disparaging commentary exposes your network to potential liability. So y'all, they're gonna be trying to sue. So they have false and defamatory content they would like to have taken down. They're also saying failure to investigate. Child, not saying failure to investigate. Bravo, do y'all be investigating? Not fair to investigate. Bravo has a legal duty to investigate the truthfulness of broadcast content that may harm third parties. The Supreme Court's holding, they decide to put a few cases up here to reference, makes clear that a broadcaster may be liable where it acts with actual malice. That is, it publishes a statement with the knowledge of its falsity or with reckless disregard for the truth. Well, see, that's the thing, though, too. where I feel like it would be a bit muddy because, and maybe not so muddy. Yes, they have to prove and confirm things, but at the same time, they're believing that this is her truth. If this is her truth and how she's sharing and what she's experienced, how they gonna say that it ain't true? If that's what she's saying her experience was with him. And if she has any, if she's called the cops on him multiple times, if there's any police records, I'm sure that's enough to show proof. So I don't know, child. But that's part of it. Unauthorized use of their children's likeness, demands, and preservation of evidence. These are the things that they are requesting. All right. So we'll see what's going to happen. But it looks like they're going to be trying to get at Bravo and trying to stifle her yet again. That's crazy. So I hate that for her. She got a lot going on. But I hope it doesn't deter her from continuing to be a part of the show. And I hope that it doesn't affect her moving forward with opening more restaurants and other things. I'm hoping Bravo also doesn't let her go from the franchise or whatever due to his acts. But child, that's crazy. That's crazy. Girl, I'm hearing a little bit of Simon and Martell Holt, just a little bit. It is cringe worthy. It's unfortunate to see. And this season has been a mess. It has been a mess, and I think that Bravo has enjoyed the mess that it has become. But y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below. I just wanted to come and give you guys just a little update of what's going on. I'm Jami, that's me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters. I'm silent. Nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification. Them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM. And the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF. Got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym. High elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take it